So welcome everybody, welcome to the live stream. Today we are going to be talking about how you set your business up for social media success in 2023. And I have a very special guest, Paula Cohen from Tailoring, who is a fantastic business coach, and she's going to be providing lots and tips and advice today. So do you want to introduce yourselves, Paula?
Yes, thank you, Bex. Thank you very much for inviting me into your debut broadcast of 2023. So I am Paula Cohen. I'm a business coach. I have been doing it now for 14, I think, years. But essentially, I work with people who are building a business, and quite often they just feel a bit challenged by the 8 million things that go into building a business. So they need a little bit of help to find some clarity, set some really clear goals, create a strategy for how they're going to achieve their goals, and then they either need a bit of hand holding, a bit of arse kicking, or somewhere in between to actually help them make that plan into a reality.
And I think it's really good because I know when I first set my business up, we did quite a few sessions, didn't we, Paula? And it really did help to sort of focus my mindset on where I wanted my business to go and what I actually wanted to achieve.
Yeah, and I think it's really hard to do that just on your own and inside your head, because inside your head there will be just a million things, and there could be a million things to focus on, a million new ideas. But actually, I genuinely think the opportunity to just talk those through, just the chance to say it out loud and hear it back and get a bit of an opinion about it as well, just makes it all so much clearer and simpler as well, I think. So yeah.
And what better way to start the new year as well with a bit of a plan? Because lots of people have New Year's resolutions, don't they? But not necessarily. They don't last long.
And I'm in general, I am not a fan of New Year's resolutions, and the reason for that is because you're generally setting them at a sort of time that somebody else is telling you to set them. It's not necessarily your choice. It doesn't always fit with your business that's the point in time where you should be setting goals. But what I also find historically is that New Year's resolutions tend to be a promise to do something you don't want to do. It's the typical, I'm definitely going to go to the gym, even though I hated it all year last year and never went. I'm going to lose some weight, and I'm going to eat lettuce and dust. But with business, it's very often things like, I'm going to commit to being more visible. I'm going to do more of this and more of this. And so often those are the things you don't really want to do, but you feel like you're supposed to. So there's no great surprise that actually none of these resolutions, there's some sort of date in February, isn't there, where 80% of resolutions have already gone out the window.
February's quite long, actually.
Maybe it's like the 5th of January.
No.
But I am a huge fan of setting goals. So goals are absolutely monumental for business and for helping you make progress. So the principle of New Year's resolutions isn't wrong. It's more a case of choosing the wrong ones and almost doing it because you think you're supposed to, instead of doing it because it's all about you and your business or your life and the things that you absolutely want to focus on.
Yeah, and so if you're looking at social media, because I know a lot of people struggle, particularly with the social media content, and again, that's why we've created the Social Flock, which is kind of a group to help people with their social media content. But there's no point throwing content out there, or no point sort of just approaching social media on a bit of a whim, really. So how would you sort of advise? What would you advise at the beginning of the year?
It's a really great point, Bex, because I think we are at that point in the year where so many people will be saying, I am definitely going to do more on social media this year. I'm going to do more with my social media this year. And that isn't necessarily the wrong intention. It may well be that that's absolutely the right thing to do for your business. But knowing you want to do more, or knowing you want it to be more effective, doesn't guarantee that it will be. So it is very much a case of taking that step back, having a plan, and making sure that there is always a strategy underlying everything you do. Everything has a purpose, and everything has a reason behind it. So the first and foremost thing for me is actually that your social media goals and objectives for the year have to align with your business objectives for the year. And this is always an interesting spot, because I know that lots of people struggle with goal setting. We know we're supposed to have goals, but we're not quite sure what they should be or how to set them. So there's kind of two elements for me to setting really successful, meaningful goals. And that first off is the most important thing, is to create goals and objectives for your business that you think are absolutely meaningful. There should be some reason behind it as to what it's going to give you, or what it's going to give your clients, or how it's going to help you, your family, your community, or something else. It has to be something almost bigger than you to make a goal really meaningful. Now, I know that some people struggle with that and struggle with, understanding what they're supposed to say. And we'll be seeing lots of stuff online at the moment with people saying, I'm going to 10x this and I'm going to double this, and I'm definitely going to head for my 5k months and my 6-figure years and my multi-7-figure this, that and the other. What I would say is, if you're not really that clear about your business goals or how to set them or what they should be, for me, there's a really, really simple exercise you can do. And I would give yourself about half an hour. And ideally, take yourself out of the office, go and find somewhere that's quite chilled out. And just think about, if you were having a conversation 12 months today, what would you like to say is different about your business? How does it feel different? How does it look different? What's different about the business financially? Is there something different around the type of people that you're working with? Is there something different about the types of products or services that you deliver? Is there something different about how you structure your days or your weeks, about the fact that they're structured at all, whereas they might not be structured now? Is there something different, just about the simple things like the amount of time you work? Is there something different about how you feel about the business? So if at the moment the business feels chaotic or feels as though you're winging it a little bit, do you want to be this time next year feeling professional, feeling organized? Do you want to be feeling really proud of your achievements? So it may be that this is almost, it doesn't sound very strategic, but I think that whole bit of, I need strategic objectives, it just needs breaking down and stripping back a little bit. So that's where that exercise for me can really make the difference. And it's not all about thinking about, I must have goals and I must have objectives. But the key thing you're looking for is absolutely understanding what success looks like to you. And then when you know all that, then you can build your social media plan.
Yeah, and that's actually really interesting, because you can just go, right, okay, what's my goal for next month, the next month after that, the next month after that? And you get so embroiled in hitting and in creating these targets without actually realistically looking at it and thinking, well, what does that mean? Particularly on social media, people go, well, next month I want to have 50 more followers. Next month, the month after that, I want 100 more followers and 100 more followers. And actually, I think what you've just described is a brilliant way, because actually, this time next year, I don't want 1,000 more followers. I probably just want 10 more clients.
There you go. Yeah.
And that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah. And if you know that it's 10 more clients buying a very specific product, paying a very specific price, then when you think, and you know exactly what type of client that is, what type of person that is, then actually creating your social media plan becomes so much easier. You've then got this framework, you've got all of that information sitting behind it that can really help you to pinpoint who you're talking to, what you're going to talk to them about, what's the purpose, where's it trying to get you to. Because I think you're right, Bex, let's face it, every time you're on Instagram, you're surrounded by people talking about 10,000 followers, and I've got to have this, and I've got to have that. But 10,000 followers who don't pay attention to what you say, or actually have no interest in ever buying from you, is a complete waste of time. Whereas 100 followers who are totally connected and absolutely resonate with you, and they're the type of people that have the budget and would genuinely be interested in buying what you sell, that's a completely different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's what social media is about, isn't it? It's about helping you progress your business, which is all, really what you're about. You look at the wider business objectives, but actually it's a very similar sort of process that you look at when looking at social media, because you could be on the wrong channel. I know everybody, I've been approached by loads of people going, oh, we want to look at TikTok this year, Bex, we want to look at TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a really interesting one. And again, I had Morgan Brandon on before Christmas talking about their success on TikTok. They've done phenomenally well. But, you know, they've got someone working on that full time for them, and it's working for them. It's brilliant, but not all businesses have that.
No, and you know, the other big thing for me that people really need to factor in and often don't is, where's this time going to come from? But if you've got clear objectives, part of that is about your time commitment. And what I see a lot is just like you said there, Bex, and it is, I think TikTok is the thing at the moment, isn't it? And you're seeing lots of people talking about the fact that TikTok's a really easy place to build a big following fast. And that's always dead like, well, that's exciting. I can go and do that and I'll get these 10,000 followers in 20 minutes. But every time you're going to either add in something new or really ramp up what you're doing in a particular area, there has to be a time allowance for that. So if you're going to completely ramp up TikTok this year, where are you going to take that time away from? Because we don't all have a finite amount of time. And all of these ideas can be amazing at first. And while you're buzzing about something and, you know, you put your first few posts out, or you start to change and you get lots of traction, that sort of excitement initially, that keeps you going. And then once things level off a little bit, then you suddenly realize that actually it needs a lot of time and it needs a lot of commitment. And now you're spread thin in lots and lots of places. So it's been really clear about where you are going to dedicate your time. Of course, if you've got that solid plan and clear objectives, then you will know who your customer is. You'll know which channels they're on. You'll know where to go and talk to them. And sometimes that might mean talking to them on channels that you don't necessarily want to be on, but that's totally where your customer is. But also it might mean that there's channels you love and your clients are not there. Although Bex will tell me that they're everywhere. So,
but they are, but in different volumes, aren't they? In different volumes and different ways that you can reach them. So TikTok is a phenomenal channel, and there are absolutely numerous clients on there, a whole age range. You know, older people are joining TikTok now. But if you're not going to actually commit to creating videos, or you're not confident about creating videos, then TikTok is not the place for you to start, certainly. You've got to have video content.
Yeah, and you've got to factor in, haven't you, that it's easy for us to sit here and kind of say, well, if TikTok's where your clients are, then you've got to go to TikTok. But if you're somebody that absolutely detests making videos, even if you force yourself to do it and persevere for a few weeks, sooner or later you're going to absolutely hate it. So unless there's a way for you to do that isn't going to be excruciating, that you've got to challenge yourself up front, haven't you, and say, is this something that I am absolutely going to commit to long term? Because diving in quickly, getting all excited and then dropping off a cliff does not look great for your business.
No, and I think that's really important for any social media. And one of the takeaways really this year is it's the same for any social media platform. We can all go gung ho. Yes, January, I'm all over my social media. But then we get busy, don't we? And then we take off. And then if we're not consistent on social media, do not get put in the high search terms for that social media platform. All social media platforms want you to be consistent and will reward those users.
There's another really key thing about consistency as well, because I think consistency is one of those words we hear a lot in business, and we hear it in all sorts of places. We hear it about marketing, we hear it about business strategy, we hear it about all sorts of things. There's a really big reason why consistency, or there's two really big reasons why consistency is so important. It's not only the fact that it actually allows you to manage your time and your diary and your workload better so that everything has a bit of natural momentum. It's also the fact that consistency is huge when it comes to building trust. And building trust is probably one of the crucial things that you almost should have on your business plan every year. How am I going to build trust? Once you get super clear about the customers that you want to work with, then you really understand, what does trust look like to these customers? And one of the big things about that is consistency, because what consistency says is, I am dependable, I'm reliable, I turn up when I say I will, I can do things consistently over the long term. And that actually says to a customer this person would be there for me. This business would be there for me. They are trustworthy, dependable, reliable. They have longevity. And that's huge in helping people to buy. That trust factor is massive in helping people to buy. So that's one of the reasons why that consistency on social media is so important. It's not just about constantly generating leads. It's actually about demonstrating that trust factor so that people are ready to actually buy from you consistently.
Consistently, yeah. And it's consistently being trustworthy. No, that's not right, is it? But yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important. So it's about you've talked about finding the right social media platform where your audience hangs out.
Yeah.
I know quite a few people shy away from LinkedIn because they see it as a professional format. So although they're on LinkedIn and they're something we talked about on Friday, wasn't it? Lurking in the background.
Yeah.
They're actually not posting content on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So we need that sort of strategy and that consistency.
Definitely.
To be in front of those people.
I think what's interesting about that is, in my experience, and you have more of this experience than me, Bex, but in my experience, I think LinkedIn is the place that people are least likely to have a plan. I think people create a plan of content for Instagram and Facebook, and for some of those platforms where you're creating visual content.
Particularly for Instagram, people want their grid to look beautiful.
Look fabulous.
Yeah.
But because there isn't, I mean, obviously you can use all those visual things on LinkedIn, but you don't have to. But I think because it's less visual, people are much less likely to have a plan. So it's often the last thing on the list. Excuse me. It becomes the thing where people sit in that space of thinking, I'm supposed to be on LinkedIn, I'm supposed to be posting today, I'm supposed to say something today. But because they don't have a plan, you just have, the magic screen of death in front of you, and you just can't think of what to say. Whereas if you step back to that plan that we talked about, and that idea of, this is where I want my business to be in 12 months' time, this is what I want to be different, that tells you who your customers will be, what your products and services will be, and what your pricing will be. So all of that gives you everything you need to think about in terms of what to talk about on social media. So when you've got that clarity about, I really want to work with customers who value and appreciate what I do, or you might want to work with customers who are massively driven by values in their business. You might want to work with customers who are incredibly profit driven and in a huge phase of growth. None of those are right or wrong. It's all about understanding exactly who you specifically want to work with. But then when you've got that clarity, then you know what kind of things keep that client awake at night, what kind of issues are they facing in their business or their life, what are the classic pain points that you might talk about. But you also know things like what might stop that client from buying from you. And then you can talk about things like that. You would understand things like, how important is trust to that client? Is it actually a quick purchase for them, or is this quite a lengthy process where they really want to absolutely know, they want to probably see the whites of your eyes and really know they can trust you? Because those people need to hear different things on social media. But with all of that, you see, you can dead easily then create your content plan, and there's no reason why that plan shouldn't be just as effective on LinkedIn. I would absolutely say that LinkedIn has been a really, really good platform for me over probably the last 4 or 5 years. But I was very much one of those people, had a profile for years, didn't have that many connections, thought it was quite boring. And then when I actually deliberately got much more involved and relaxed about it a lot more, and didn't start worrying so much about the LinkedIn police who tell me certain things should only be on Facebook, I've actually found it incredibly effective. I think there are an awful lot of potential customers on LinkedIn who enjoy I'm going to say slightly more professional discussion, but actually LinkedIn is a platform that can give you that place for conversation. So it's definitely if you think your clients are there, if you're B2B particularly, Your clients are definitely there.
It is, and I think LinkedIn is a fabulous platform for any B2B business to business, simply because the majority of people on LinkedIn are lurking in the background and not creating content. I mean, there's some mad statistic. It is about 80% of monthly active users on LinkedIn are actually lurking in the background, and they never like anything, they never post anything, they never comment. And because of this opportunity, if you are one of the content creators on LinkedIn, i.e. posting, then you're going to get seen to a much higher proportion than if you were creating content on Facebook, for example, or Twitter, you know, or
I'm
Instagram.
sure, isn't there a statistic that says it's only something like 1% of people on LinkedIn who post daily? And I don't know whether that daily means 7 days a week or 5 business days a week, but daily-ish, it's only something like 1% of people that post consistently. And that, that means the path is there, you know, it is. You can actually get seen and noticed. But you touched on something as well there, Bex, and I know we talked about this on Friday, but the lurkers. This is such an interesting thing, and I think something that so many people miss is that very often the people who want to buy from you are not the people who are always engaging with you. They're not the ones who are openly chatting on all of your posts because they don't want to show their hand. They are secretly checking you out. They are building that trust. They're deciding for themselves whether you are trustworthy and you genuinely can help them. And then they will only get in touch when they've more or less made the decision to buy from you. So they'll come to you then as a really hot lead. But a lot of people don't recognize the fact that you may well have lots of customers or potential customers who are watching and they're not engaging with what you do, but they're watching, they're assessing, they're building their confidence before they come and buy from you. So a lot of the, you know, this is why we call it the vanity metrics, but you know, the how many likes and things like that you're getting aren't always an indication of how many people are actually building up the confidence to buy from you. So yeah, I would say definitely don't get bogged down by those statistics.
No, absolutely. And I would say the majority of my inquiries through social media are from people I've never heard of. And really interesting as well, after COVID, I actually, you know, when I finally got back to face-to-face networking, I remember going to a large networking event. There was over 200 people. And the amount of people that came up to me and not seen for 2 years going, "Oh, hi, Bex, you all right? Blimey, you've been doing X, Y, Z, haven't you? And how about this? And oh, I was thinking about this. Could you tell me a bit more about it?" And I was absolutely, you know, I was blown away. Even more so, I keep telling my customers this, but my clients this, but I was blown away because actually, you know, none of these people had ever made any action to like or comment on any of the posts. So I did not know they were watching. And I think that's really, really important going into 2023, is that when you create this fantastic social media plan, is that actually you can get despondent very, very quickly because you're not seeing immediate results. But actually your social media is a long-term plan. It's not about getting quick wins. If you're lucky, you might get a quick win, but it's about that long-term strategy. Longevity over time is basically what wins on social media.
Totally. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Bex. And again, I am gonna be repeating myself a lot today, but that's why it comes back to having this clear plan for the business. When you've got those clear objectives, then you recognize what I'm looking to do over the course of this year is sell X number of this product or this service to this kind of client. And that can then give you that clarity and the confidence that says, I don't need 10,000 followers. What I need is 2 leads a month or 3 leads a month or 8 leads a month. And then you can start to think about, this is how many leads I need a month. Where are the places that I'm going to get those leads? And obviously a brilliant place to start there is thinking about what worked for you last year, potentially also a chance to think about where did you spend an awful lot of time last year and didn't get any return from it, because it's also very easy to keep doing something that doesn't work because you're too scared to stop doing it. And sometimes stopping is the right thing to do. But yeah, make it all about the goals and the objectives for the year. And then it's less about those sort of instant statistics and almost that kind of instant gratification of why haven't everybody liked my post? Why haven't I gone viral today? But yeah, keep it all about the annual objectives, and then you'll be on the right track.
No, that's been brilliant. That's been brilliant, Paula. So in summary then, I think you've kind of just summed it up basically, haven't you? But any final words of wisdom? How can people get in touch with you if they want a bit more support with regards to your business planning? And
so yeah, I think I guess final words of wisdom would be to build some consistency in your business about planning and reviewing. So you can create your plan for the year and you can create your content plan that then underpins that. But if you don't review those things and if you don't actually implement them things, they won't do much for you. So build that consistency into your diary. You know, have something like an hour a week where you review the week and plan the next week, half a day a month to do that more intensively. If you want to get in touch with me, you will find me. You can come and connect with me personally on Facebook. My page is Paula @Tailory. This is my website. That's beautifully put on there. And you'll also find me on Instagram, and you will find me on LinkedIn. You'll also find me on TikTok, but I'm not the most active on TikTok. I'm doing that cheating thing where I'm sharing my reels from Instagram over to TikTok. So I'm not the most active there. You can see some bits, but you'd be better off on Instagram actually. Yeah. I'm more likely to actually respond and comment.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Yeah. No, and I would highly recommend anyone get in touch with Paula. She's massively helped outside of social media, but helped with that structure. So thank you for all your tips. If you are looking to develop and need help with the social media content plan specifically, rather than a wider business plan, then I have actually got a social media content planning webinar coming up this Friday. We're doing basically coming together and we're all going to look at our business objectives and see how that then links into your social media content strategy and really create a simple social media content strategy for 2023. So you're off to a head start straight away. And again, that's only £25. And again, I put the link down here. So it would be lovely to see you all there. Yeah. So thanks everybody for watching. Again, this fabulous guest expert was brought to you through the Social Flock, which is a social media content support group. So again, if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about the Social Flock, again, just pop it in the comments and I can send you more details. But I'd just like to finish by saying thank you so much, Paula. It's been really, really useful and really enjoyed having you. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and chipping in.
Thanks all. See you again next week, live at 12:30. Bye.